Hey everybody, Kellen Nitro here for Nitromaniac TV's wrestling channel, and man, what a overnight slash early morning it was on January 4th, because it's time to break down, on this edition of Nitro's Take, Wrestle Kingdom 12 with my man, the Moorhouse CDN on the other end of the line. Moorhouse, are you awake yet? Are you happy?
I think I'm awake. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm still floating in bed.
You're in that weird space between the conscious and the subconscious right now.
It's where, I could sleep in and not set an alarm, but that's going to mess up my life going forward this week.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So we're just going to run down the card and give you guys our thoughts, I should say. And you can give us your thoughts in the comment section below, or tweet at us at Kellen Nitro, and you're at the Moorhouse CDN on Twitter.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right on. Well, let's get after it. I did not see the New Japan Rumble, but you did.
Yes.
Explain to the fans the phenomena that is the New Japan Rumble.
The New Japan Rumble is the most prestigious event at Wrestle Kingdom. It features everyone who wasn't in an angle, and also New Japan Hall of Famers or Japanese wrestling legends. It's done as a Royal Rumble style, but with pins and submissions allowed. So it's any type of elimination, but they do 1 minute intervals for each guy coming out.
Right.
I did check it out. The commentary team was on par for this event because it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. It was a good, welcome to the arena type match. I wouldn't spend money to watch the match.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it was exactly what the New Japan Rumble is.
Well, Kakihara was the winner, right?
Kakihara, he was the winner. He eliminated Cheeseburger in the final to win the tournament.
Okay, and here was the list of the people that were in it. So you had Bushi, Chase Owens, Cheeseburger, like you said, made the final four. David Finlay, Delirious, El Desperado, Gino Gambino from Ring of Honor, very nice. Hiroshi Tenzan, Jushin Liger, nice, right there. Kitamura, Leo Tonga, Nakanishi, Kojima, again another Japanese legend. Takamichi Noku, the greatest cruiserweight of our generation. Tiger Mask, Hinari Yoshihashi, Kinemuro, Yuji Nagata, which awesome, and Takahashi. So there you go. This is an event, of course, that traditionally has legends kind of pop in out of nowhere. Like a couple of years ago, they had Haku show up, and apparently he was Bullet Club. So hey, great.
Last year they had Scott Norton.
Yeah, I was going to say they had Scott Norton make an appearance, and him and Michael Elgin stood face to face in the ring, and it was actually pretty freaking cool. So, I haven't seen the Rumble yet as of time of this recording. I hope to get around to watching it just because the commentary usually makes it for that, because it's like MST Free K for pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's
correct.
Awesome.
It's we don't care, and let's have fun.
This is the fun Rumble. The stuff that's coming up in a couple of weeks that the E is putting on is the serious Rumbles, but this is the fun Rumble. This is the one where it's like, okay, cool.
Does WWE use a serious Rumble?
The winner, the winner gets all of the internet points. We'll just put it that way. Yeah. So
also, side fact here: Kakihara this year at the Rumble was sponsored by water. He had a shirt that just said water on it.
Yeah, water's important.
It is very important.
I have a friend of mine who posted on her Facebook last night after showing up at the gym that it was that she can't believe how much of a better workout she gets in now that she's able to breathe. And so I responded, yes, air is important. She has asthma, or bouts of asthma, I should say. So that's why she posted that entire thing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So air is important, and if you can get sponsored by air, that's great. And water is important. If you can get sponsored by water, that's even better. So
if you get sponsored by fire, earth, and heart, then all the powers will combine.
And Captain Planet will emerge from the middle of the Tokyo Dome. So there we go. But anyways, moving on. The main card opened after a great... just the production value on these things is amazing, I find. The opening package with everything just lining up. It's such a different production than WWE, obviously. But man, that opening was so cool, and the stage is just so awesome. Like, we're talking, Kiss, Megadeth level stage in the Tokyo Dome, right, with fire and pyro and smoke and everything. So the opening match, of course, was for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship with the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, versus Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo, with Rocky Romero in Roppongi's corner. And this kind of is the culmination. Well, it's not really a culmination, just because these guys have been feuding for years, the Young Bucks and Rocky Romero, with different partners that Romero has had. But now Romero's kind of stepped aside from the wrestling in-ring stuff a little bit, and is being used more as an outside-the-ring personality, as a mouthpiece, because he can cut a promo and that stuff for these Roppongi 3K kids, who used to be the Tempura Boys, I do believe, last year, but rebranded as Roppongi 3K. And Sho and Yo, this was my first time actually watching them as Roppongi 3K. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Sho, but he took a really bad back bump to the outside there. We were all at the viewing party really concerned about, the match at that point, right?
Yes, that's yeah, no, it was it looked pretty intense, actually. They were all working each other's backs, and yeah, at one point Sho was sporting, a pretty severe back injury, and even Matt Jackson had his back worked on, and yeah, it looked like it could be legitimate, but I don't know. Yeah, it's probably at work, and I'm probably, a mark.
Yeah, it might have been it might have been a good sales job. I tell you, that's just when the entire crowd just goes ooh when he hits the outside. You can tell that it's kind of a rough one. So, but yeah, I thought that, it was a good little change from other IWGP Junior Heavyweight matches that have opened Wrestle Kingdom, because don't forget, they usually rock the hell out of the multi-team, 4-team elimination style match for the card, or I think it's elimination style. It could be one fall, but it's the last couple of years they've done that, right? And so to see this was good. It was a nice little change.
Yeah, it was a slower pace than the Young Bucks usually do. It was definitely calmed down a bit, and I thought it told a good story.
I think the big problem with that division right now, and for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, is there's not enough teams. You got the Young Bucks, and then whoever the Young Bucks are feuding with, pretty much for that belt. So I think in 2018, New Japan's resolution should be hire more cruiserweights, tag them together, and give them, feuds and stuff to, build that division back up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yep. Exactly. So going on to the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championship. This was a gauntlet match that's seen the Chaos faction win, with Beretta, Ishii, and Toru Yano and his DVDs defeating the Bullet Club trio of the Gorillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale. Michael Elgin and War Machine, which was a very interesting threesome with the month that both these, War Machine and Elgin have had. Suzuki-gun, which was Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and you have to help me with the pronunciation of this one, Izuka?
It looks like Izuka, yes.
Izuka, yeah. And, they had Taka again at ringside, and just a whole crew of people. And Taguchi Japan, which was Juice Robinson, Taguchi, and Makabe, which, it's good to see Makabe get back on a main card again, because I know that since Hanma's been out with that career-ending injury and that stuff, Makabe's been kind of floating towards the bottom of the card. So it's good to see him get into a title situation again. This one was, in my opinion, a time filler. It did its job. The most interesting, like I said, deal was Elgin and War Machine, because of the public and private feuding that I want to say that, is it Rowe and Elgin have been having over the month of December?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and just it was kind of interesting to see those entities work together, and so Beretta's got a belt again, which is great. They're trying to push him as kind of more of a single star, and putting them this never open weight 6-man tag is essentially something that they can pair once or twice a year with the ROH 6-man champions and see what they can get. So now you can expect to see probably later on down the line Beretta, Ishii, and Yanu go head to head with Page and the Young Bucks. So that will be a good match a little bit later on down the road. But it was passable.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't have much hype for this match going forward. I always find the 6-man tag titles there, it's kind of just filler matches, just to get a lot of guys some exposure on the card that aren't already booked. Mm-hmm. And I think it's pretty close to the exact same result as last year, because Ishii and Yano, and I can't remember who was with them, won the title last year, exactly the same type of match.
Right, exactly. So then we had kind of our first big singles match of the evening, where Kota Ibushi defeated Cody. And I thought this was actually a really entertaining match between the two of them. I've said it before. I said it on my Nitro Stake for ROH Final Battle. I don't get the platinum hair. It's kind of like Cody looks like Billy Idol. So it's kind of a throw off there. I've asked your crew last night about it, and they're as perplexed as I am. So help me out here.
I think he's trying to pay homage to his dad and his brother, who also sported the bleach blonde hair. However, with his skin tone, it doesn't quite work because he's a darker tone than the other two.
Brandy looked good last night.
Well, Brandy always looks good. I mean,
it looked really good. I was kind of trying to explain what the outfit was. It was like a red singlet top.
A singlet with a snake on it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, what it kind of reminded me of something that like Maria Kanellis would wear back in the Kingdom era in Ring of Honor, when Bennett and Taven were a real good team. Ibushi, hey, they're going to be pushing him in 18. So, and you had said that Ibushi's your pick for the G1 this year. I'd have to say that that's probably more than plausible at this point. They got him a huge win over a huge North American star. I think it's to the moon, Alice, with this guy.
I think they're good. Yeah, I think it's Ibushi's time. He's, he's mid-30s now. He's a super, super baby face, which I don't know if they have that level. Like, he's even more baby face than Tanahashi. And the match was great. Like, it was pure face versus heel match. It was, exactly what you would see when you put those type of styles together.
Right. Well, moving on, the tag title match with the Killer Elite Squad versus LIJ, Evil and Sonata representing LIJ. And, LIJ got ragdolled. Like the first, 10 minutes of that thing. I got the runtime here says 14:14. It felt like the first 15 minutes of that match, they got ragdolled, something fierce. I can tell you this, I enjoy New Japan Lance Archer just because it's like a rock and roll Stan Hansen. The way he came to the ring last night was just insane. I loved it.
Yeah, you were really promoting Lance Archer last night.
Yeah,
hard this morning.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, man, I could hear Sunrise playing in the background and the whole deal. He just was just chaos and confusion and that stuff. And I think your one friend said it best is that the Japanese crowd loves that. They do. I mean, they grew up watching Hanson and the Road Warriors and stuff like that. Just these big American dudes coming in and just, yeah, pick up a fan out of the stands and toss him 20 feet in the air. Why not? You know, pay attention. It's a waiver, right?
They like to be abused a bit.
So, yeah, Davey, man, dude's bulked up, but he's bulked up in a good way. The dude's, you know, got a real healthy build on him. He can move. Looks like he's having fun in there.
He looks like his dad.
Yeah.
Looks like, you know, Davey Boy Sr.
Yeah, just with blonde hair.
Yeah.
That's the only difference, so. But no, yeah, I don't think we can call him the baby bulldog no more. He's Davey Boy Smith Jr. and he's got his own deal. So, and the Killer Elite Squad, man, love watching those guys wrestle. But they dropped the belts, which was insane. That was at the end there, Evil and Sonata were able to pull it out. So, I was a little thrown off by the story, to tell you the truth. The match, probably with the extended squash job, wasn't as I guess as competitive that I thought, you know, it could have been. It definitely wouldn't have been the thing I would have drawn up for both these teams. I would have had them more evenly go at it. But, you know, hey, if the Killer Elite Squad get a rematch immediately against these guys, that's probably the route they'll take again. And that'll work, so, you know, so.
Yeah, no, I agree. The match was, you know, the Elite Squad was working Sonata for like 10 minutes. They kept throwing Evil outside. Eventually the hot tag, and then they win.
Yep, that's pretty much it. So, anyways, yeah, that was that one. The next one was Hiroki Goto versus Minoru Suzuki. This was a hair versus hair, and under deathmatch rules for the Never Openweight Championship. This was not, you know, your typical ultra-violent CZW style deathmatch. This was your old school territory style, no rules type deathmatch. So no light bulbs, which is a good thing.
No C4s, no barbed wire bats, nothing.
that's the other extreme, the Japanese deathmatch, right? Yeah, I think probably because they didn't run a intermission during this card, I don't think they could have set that up. And plus, who the heck would want to watch a Japanese deathmatch on a New Japan card in 2018 anyway? So, yeah, all right. So, but whatever. Yeah, Goto beat Suzuki, but Suzuki, man, he's, for an old guy, is just hard. I just said he's just a hard man. The dude is just tougher than shoe leather.
It was I think my second favorite match of the night. I'd put it up there with as my second favorite as well. Told a really good story. So, really good story. Goto, good to see him finally get a win at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not sure if he was on a bit of a losing streak coming into this or not. I'd have to check and see. But, you know, it's good. And I likened the match to like a Terry Funk, Jerry Lawler, Memphis thing. And it was just, you know, the old veteran and, you know, the guy who's been kind of a standard bearer for the company going head to head. And yeah, very entertaining 18 minutes. Rough match. There was a hanging spot, which was kind of uneasy to watch, but Suzuki's the type of guy, and I mentioned it last night, that if you walk into like the dojo and you see him across the mat from you, you might want to try and bail out of the closest window because the dude will end you with holds. The next match was the four-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Ospreay, Skrull, Takahashi, and Kushida all involved in this one, and Ospreay walked out with the belt. I think any one of these four could have walked out with the belt, and we would have said great match. It was a very evenly put together four-way match. I agree with that statement. It was a fun, reminds me of old, you know, 97 WCW Cruiserweight Fatal Fours they used to have. Yeah. With everyone getting their big moves and big spots in.
The eighth match on the card was the singles match for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Switchblade Jay White. This is the first match I've seen with Jay White doing the Switchblade character. I saw clips of it online. The clips I saw online were very well produced, so it kind of made the character look a little bit more impressive to me than it did last night. He's missing some stuff with that character. He's got a good baseline with it, but still, it's a little bit too... You can still see the face kind of poking out of the heel there. He needs some additions, just both aesthetically and then maybe just in-ring wise to be more of a full heel.
He'll work on it. He's still a young guy. I didn't know much about him coming into this match. I thought it was, a good match. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. It was just there. But he'll work his character. He'll get a new costume. I mean, I'm sure there's pictures of Sting before he wore makeup and just wore like black tights.
They do. It's called Power Team 5000 or whatever it was. Yeah. But I will give him this. The match itself was quite entertaining. He took it to Tanahashi, which is good because Tanahashi really responds well to people wrestling his style of match. Tanahashi probably now the equivalent of what John Cena is in WWE. Just bring him in occasionally at this point in his career. Give him a mid-card belt and try to work with him.
Yeah, Ace has nothing to prove career-wise. He's done it all in New Japan now.
Yeah. And I don't think we'll see him in I don't think we'll see him in WWE anytime soon or anything along those lines. So I think that he's very content where he is. And he's such a cultural icon over there that, it's really no need for him to come over to North America at all. So, hey, you're big fish in, I don't want to say a relatively small pond, but maybe a medium-sized pond. Just hang out and do your thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. All right, the big one. The once-in-a-lifetime no disqualification match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, the Battle of Winnipeg in the Winnipeg Dome in Tokyo. Where do we start? It was mind-blowing.
It's probably my favorite match tonight. It was everything I thought it would be. I was highly anticipated for it. Omega was the baby face, pro New Japan, and Jericho was the enemy. He was coming into New Japan and disrespecting everything about it. Yep,
exactly. And they wrestled a very solid sports entertainment style match. I think that's something that, Vince would be happy to have on any WrestleMania or any SummerSlam card, going forward. Omega kind of ditching the Terminator outfit and was doing some sort of, it was like an Egyptian god thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had like a pharaoh dog type costume going on.
Jericho brought back the light bright jacket, which everybody popped for. He walked out to Judas, which if he goes back to WWE, or if he pursues New Japan further, I think you let him use Fozzy and you license Fozzy as his entrance music from now on, because that's what people will associate him with.
Can he get the license rights from himself?
He's Chris Jericho. He can do whatever he wants. I would say.
Yeah, but couldn't Jericho sue Jericho over using Jericho music?
That's wow. I think you broke the singularity portal. I think that's, So if you see cats and dogs running together in the streets after this review, you'll know why. Moorhouse has disrupted space and time by bringing that. Man, but it just added something to it. I think the only thing they missed out on is Jericho should have sang himself to the ring. Like, book Fozzy to play him to the ring, and he just give him 4 minutes to bust out, the song, and then let him walk to the ring, But
kind of like with Motorhead and Triple H back in 2017.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing with that, though, is that would be more of a face move than a heel move. And he was a heel walking in, so.
Yeah, he was anti-establishment to New Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Great match. Awesome story being told. I liken this one too. Like if you listen to that single he's got out, Judas, like it matches up perfectly, the lyrics and that stuff and the story of that song to what they were trying to present in the storyline. So it could have been wrestling's version of a rock opera we watched last night. I'm just putting it out there.
And some of the stuff they did was stiff.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but the finish is very, very stiff.
Well, we've been saying a winners all show and that stuff, but if you, I understand that. But yeah, the Omega defeated Jericho, of course, if you're watching this. Hopefully after you've watched the event. If you're watching this before, then you fool. No, go back and listen to Moorhouse's preview instead. It was better. No, but
it was the one-wing angel on the chair.
Yeah, that was insane. It's just great storytelling from both athletes, and this establishes Kenny Moore, and Jericho got his big Tokyo Dome shot. Now it remains to be seen. It's curious. It's like, what's Chris Jericho going to do now? Does he head back to WWE and try to get in on WrestleMania this year so he can be in that club with AJ that have worked New Japan or have worked Wrestle Kingdom, and then 3 months later do a WrestleMania the same year? Or is Jericho content enough with just sitting back and putting this cruise together and then maybe booking a rematch between him and Omega as the main event for this thing? Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this story's quite closed yet.
No, it didn't feel like it last night. It was too personal to end in one match. And then, of course, the main event, which they were advertising Jericho and Omega as a double main event. So in North American pro wrestling terms, we would say that if there was more than one match being advertised as the main event, then they don't really have a main event. But I think with this one, the matches were so good that both of them could have headlined, similarly huge cards themselves. But Okada versus Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and Okada defeated Naito after Naito got a little bit too greedy with the Destinos, with the finisher at the end, which I thought was a great ending to it. It was a phenomenal ending.
It was a good match. I think the problem with the pacing here is like, oh, we just got Omega Jericho, and oh, we have another intense match right after. Oh no.
So would you have swapped the order and put Omega Jericho right after the junior heavyweight, and then put Tanahashi and White in the middle of that?
I think I would have spread it out a little differently. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of WrestleMania 18, where Hogan Rock broke the house down, and then you still had Jericho Triple H to follow.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with that, though, is it seems like it was a little bit nitpicky to do that, just due to the fact that I think from top to bottom it was a very solidly put together card. Mm-hmm. Now, was it as good as, say, the Wrestle Kingdom, which I really enjoyed, which was the 2016 version with Nakamura and Styles? Mm-hmm. I don't think it was on that par of it. I think it equals card wise to what they had last year, up until the main event. I think the main event from last year's card, obviously Okada and Omega, is such a genre changing match that it's tough. It's like, you're Pink Floyd, you just released Dark Side of the Moon, now you got to come back and release another one. So you put together The Wall, which is a completely different thing, and mm-hmm. it's good, but it's still a masterpiece, but it's got its own different deal, right?
Yeah.
So this card here, what I usually do on this show on Nitro's Take is I just rate the card out of 10, and that's taking into account all the factors: production, quality, match pacing, entertainment value, etc. I'll give this card actually a solid 8 8.75 out of 10 for tonight, just because there were a few mistakes during the broadcast of just spots being missed by cameras, which is, you're watching a live event, it happens, but with something with that scale, you have to be a little bit, I guess, more copacetic to what you're doing, right? And the fact of the matter is, I guess, no bones, no gimmicks way of presenting the card last night too was really refreshing. I enjoyed that. The length of the card, of course, is a little bit of a kick in the guts, right? But I think that's just because we're stomaching so much free hour garbage on Monday nights that it's still kind of to sit down and watch for 4+ hours, right? So, but the quality of these matches, these are all, great matches that stand alone to themselves. Well, maybe the Rumble is just there for comedy anyway, but these matches are all really awesome matches that I think could stand alone by themselves as all almost match of the year candidates. But I think with 2018 just starting, I think if you're going to pick 2 matches off this card, obviously for match of the year candidates, you'll pick Omega and Jericho, and you'll pick Okada and Naito in that. And maybe Goto and Suzuki get a honorable mention up there as well. But I think a lot of people are really going to be pushing the Omega Jericho match as a match of the year candidate at the end of this year in 18. So
I completely agree with you. Omega Jericho will stand out when we look back on 2018 as that happened, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I think Okada and Naito, they did a traditional Okada style match. Their Okada style matches are usually really, really good, and this one's no exception to that. For the overall card, the review, I'd probably give it a 8.5.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think some of the matches, I think the pacing could have been a bit differently, just because watching Wrestle Kingdom is an endurance, especially if we live on the other side of the pond like we do.
Yes, indeed. Well, thanks again for all your work in setting this up for us. And, sets up a great year wrestling-wise, because now we flip back to the big conglomerate of WWE and get ready for the Rumble in a couple of weeks.
Double Rumble.
The Double Rumble, yes, indeed. But I'm Kellen Nitro. At the other end of the line, I should say, is Moorhouse. Moorhouse, again, where can people follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter at TheMoorhouseCDN, and I'm also coming out with a few other things in the next few weeks here.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, yes, I'm Kellen Nitro. Follow me on Twitter at Kellen Nitro, and happy wrestling watching. Later days. See you next time.
Yeah, jerks.
That's not nice. They're good people.